Welcome back to Squad Anime. As you can see, me and Akil are in the same space this time. David is unable to join us because he's busy, but this is a special edition where we're coming to you live in person.
Yes, very big day, but I hope that you guys are enjoying this special edition, and without any more, we're going to be covering the new One Piece chapter 1059, titled The Captain Kobe Incident. So, the chapter starts off with us seeing Marco leaving the Red Hair Pirates, thanking them for the ride from Wano, and you can see that Shanks is kind of trying to convince Marco to join the crew. He's like, are you sure you don't want to join? Are you sure you gotta go? And Marco kind of jokingly laughs off. He's like, I'm too old to be playing babysitter for you great pirates. And Shanks is like, I'm not that much of a handful. And even Beckham can't back him up. He's like, yeah, no, you're too much to deal with. And everyone's laughing it up. And then Marco kind of heads out, and I think he kind of thinks back, and we get a little flashback of what happened in Wano before everyone left.
Yeah, I think it's cool that Marco was able to leave the Straw Hats so quickly and find the red-haired pirates. I mean, it must not be that hard to find Shanks anyway, because who else has that much hockey?
Yeah, absolutely, dude.
But I just find it really cool how close we had Shanks and Luffy to each other, because they are both in Wano, but obviously they didn't meet yet, because once they meet, it's on site.
It is on site. There's a promise that Shanks, I'm sure, hasn't forgotten.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I can't wait till that happens. So as you guys know, we were just back in Wano a few moments ago, and we finally get the real reason that Yamato decided to stay back in Wano. Much to our dismay, Yamato wanted to stay in Wano because he wanted to make sure that the island of Wano was safe, which makes sense. We wanted Yamato to join the crew, but they're looking at it from a mature perspective, and they want to keep Momo and the rest of the Wano Kingdom from letting in any more outside threats.
Yeah, and I can't blame them considering how Admiral Dick Rider showed up and almost wiped out everybody after all the hard work they did to get rid of Kaido. So even though I am disappointed that Yamato won't be officially joining the crew, I can understand why. And Yamato makes a good point, like, they wouldn't be able to enjoy their journeys properly if they were constantly worrying about Wano and being in danger.
Yeah, I really hope that them being a territory of the Straw Hat Pirates really act as a deterrent. Kaido being the ruler of Wano helped, but he was actually there in Wano. Luffy obviously is not staying in Wano, but he has a son of Kaido there, which I guess is like one of the next best things.
Yeah, about as good as you can get.
Yeah, and after that explanation, we see that Luffy and Marco had a small reunion. Luffy, Marco, and Jinbei actually.
Yes.
Luffy thanking Marco for saving him all those years ago.
Yes, in the Summit War, and then you have Marco and Jinbei also having a fun little side note where they're like thinking back on how everyone was so ready to fight on sight back in the Summit War, and now comparatively, like compared to things that are going on now, it just seems so wild.
Yeah, they really did have some wild exploits.
And then before he leaves, Marco once again just kind of says to Luffy that Ace will be proud of how far he's come, which puts a big old grin on Luffy's face, and he's happy to hear that, I'm sure.
Yes. Oh, rest in peace to Ace.
Rest in peace to Ace, the goat, the homie.
The only important character to have died in One Piece.
Yeah, literally. I mean Whitebeard.
I mean Whitebeard too, but as far as story impact.
Yeah.
Ah, man. Oh well. So, moving on, we go to the Calm Belt, and we're on the Island of Women. So, this isn't a fantasy.
It's the Amazon
Lily. Yeah, it's the Amazon Lily. Yeah. So, the town is obviously in bad shape. We learned that they've been under attack. I mean, no surprise since they demolished the Shichibukai system. None of the warlords are safe anymore. It's hunting season.
Hunting season, and the Marines are very excited to do so.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Just because you're a hot chick doesn't mean you're spared from the wrath of the Marines.
Yeah, and Boa knows that very well because they messed up her island, and she's like, as long as I'm here, the Navy won't stop coming. And you know, she has a very serious look. She's like, well, I guess there's only one thing to do. I better go marry Luffy. And of course, Boa Hancock is like, oh, well, any excuse to go find Luffy.
Yeah, and then Gloriosa's like, you always say that. And then we learned that they were attacked actually a few weeks prior, so the bow that we're seeing right now is the bow that's recovered from that attack.
And what an attack it was. We get to see just the extent of it with the Marines setting siege to the island, not just with a large amount of forces and Kobe, but also a new kind of pacifista.
Yeah,
The PX Seraphim, I think, is the official name for them. But they look like children. But I think the most notable thing about them, besides their insane strength, is the fact that they share the traits of the Lunarians, which is the dark hair, the dark skin, the white hair, and the wings.
Yes, as seen by King, who is one of the last living Lunarians. Because remember, PXs aren't actual,
People.
Organic. Aren't organisms, they're robots, cyborgs, I guess. But they have a ridiculous amount of power, it looks like. And not only were they being attacked by the Marines with their new technologies, but they were also being laid siege to by an emperor.
An emperor,
but not just any emperor.
Blackbeard himself.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
The Dark Emperor, if you will. If Kobe's the Flame Emperor and our boy Luffy is the Pirate King Emperor, then Blackbeard is most definitely the Dark Emperor.
Yeah. Blackbeard's siege came as a surprise to the Marines as well, because they just weren't expecting him to show up at all. But it turns out that he was coming through to try to steal Boa Hancock's power. Could you imagine somebody like Blackbeard trying to use Boa Hancock's power to whoop somebody?
I just imagine Blackbeard's like, I can tell you're in love with me, aren't you? And then hits him with the slave arrow and nothing happens.
Nothing happens.
They just stand there completely unaffected.
His crew would probably throw up if they were subject to those kind of attacks. I would.
Imagine, Blackbeard just blowing a kiss to you. Oh man.
But as you can see, Blackbeard appears. He has his whole crew behind him. We still haven't seen much of the members in action, but that doesn't mean they're not dangerous.
Yeah, and then honestly, like, between the heavy hitters we know Blackbeard does have and the sheer numbers he now has backing him, he's enough of a threat. Like, even if he only had like as many people as Luffy, I'm sure like his main crew would still be practically formidable. So these extra cannon fodder characters that he's pulling up with definitely help his situation. Especially given that like Blackbeard feels damage, physical damage, like 2 times or 3 times worse than an average person because of his fruit.
Yeah, the Yami Yami no Mi. So a couple members of Blackbeard's crew want to take her in alive.
For nefarious purposes.
Yeah, one says that her head would look really good as a necklace, which is pretty
dark and gruesome.
Yeah, pretty dark for One Piece. We have the Marines, Blackbeard, and the Kuja Pirates going at it.
Yeah.
So this is
a massive 3-way battle right now.
I hope we see it animated.
Oh my goodness, dude. I can't wait.
It seems like that the Blackbeard Pirates have been hunting down other warlords as well. It seems like Kobe was the first one to make a note of it, saying that, why wouldn't an emperor want a piece of a former warlord?
Yeah.
I think it's strange that Kobe announces that the Navy wasn't looking for a fight. They were looking to have the pirates just surrender to them.
Yeah, and capture them. I'm not sure for what purpose, because as far as we can tell, most times they capture pirates, it's only to hold them for a bit before they're executed. So I'm not sure. Maybe Kobe was told by a higher up that they're not trying to kill her, and he genuinely believes it. But whether or not that's the real truth, that's something entirely different. The Navy, I wouldn't trust at all. Like, I could definitely see them promising that they won't kill Boa, and then next thing you know, she's back enslaved like she was when she was young, going through hell all over again.
Yeah, or they turn her into something worse.
But yeah, Boa knows this very well because she says, "Don't waste your breath. I'll never submit to another's captivity." And even then, before anything else can even happen, a PX Seraphim comes up and attacks Blackbeard, and you can tell that he's terrified as well. Like, he's the first one to like make note of the Lunarian traits. But on top of that, we see just how powerful they are as one of them sends a sword slash towards Blackbeard and ends up cutting a huge chunk of the island off. I mean, an insane amount. And it was such a casual swing, too.
Yeah.
So whatever this new tech that the Navy's pulling up with, terrifying.
Oh my gosh, it's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
I think it's interesting how Blackbeard also is familiar with the Lunarian race. I wonder how.
I mean, he did. I don't know how much he knows, but remember how he used to have the Devil Fruit book, and that's how he learned about like how the Yami Yami no Mi was like the best fruit to have and all this stuff. I wonder if maybe like there were other books that he read that talked to him a little bit more about like different like races from the past or something, and maybe that's how he's aware of the Lunarians.
But not only that, he looked terrified. So I think that there's more to the Lunarian race that we just don't know.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. So, Oda's just teasing us a little more, and honestly, I remember when King came and we got a little bit of Lunarian lore, I was like, we probably won't get more for a while. But the way Oda's teasing us, I'm thinking hopefully we'll get a little something sooner than I expected.
Yeah, hopefully. He's like, you guys can't be serious. This kid took you guys down?
Yeah, he underestimated him. Because obviously, like, when you see a little kid, honestly, if you see a little kid on a battlefield full of dropped grown men, you run. There is absolutely no reason for you to stick around for that.
I mean, that's literally like Kaido was as a kid.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
he was an 8-year-old kid beating adults into the dirt.
And apparently, I guess they were like, what should we do for this next line of pacifistas? They're like, you remember Kaido when he was a kid? Do that.
They just try to make another Kaido. We cut to Blackbeard actually having to exert some effort, right?
Yeah.
First, he blocks the blocks the strike from the new pacifista, but he uses his black hole move, and at that same moment, Boa uses slave arrow.
Yes.
So obviously, a bunch of people get turned to stone. Kobe's surprised that a lot of the Marines managed to turn to stone, but Kobe himself, it's unclear as to whether or not he dodged it, but I'm not sure if he dodged it or if he's just immune.
Yeah, dodged it. Maybe he's like maybe he is immune in the sense that like
Luffy.
Yeah, like Luffy. And remember how there was the one Marine dude who he stabbed himself in the leg when Boa did it so that his pain would distract him from that.
Vice Admiral Momongo.
Yes, and so it's possible that maybe like Kobe was just so distracted by like everything else going on the island right now that he couldn't even like focus on the fact that like Bo was attractive and pretty or something, and so the slave arrow had no effect.
Yeah, but Blackbeard looks like he managed to absorb the arrow with his black hole because he avoided turning to stone, which would have ended him right there if you think about it.
I know.
Would have ended the whole Blackbeard virus right there.
Would have been real convenient too. Like,
just goes to show you, man. Devil fruits can really level the playing field.
Absolutely, like, and devil fruit usage as well, because there are some people who get stuck with like something that's like a trash tier fruit comparatively, but they just use it so well that like they're unbeatable.
Exactly, Luffy and at the time.
At the time, we thought Luffy was one of them.
Yeah, just a rubber guy, but we know his fruit is a lot more now. But speaking to that usage, it seems like, I mean, obviously Blackbeard wanted to take Hancock's fruit, but Hancock is saying
it wouldn't have done him any good.
Yes, because it works with her. Yeah. First of all, it works because of her good looks. Second of all, she has a different level of mastery over the fruit as well.
Yes.
Right. She
pretty much told Blackbeard, she was like, you're ugly, your hairline's whack, you got no drip.
And it seems like Boa Hancock's in a difficult situation because he was just captured by Blackbeard. And we get an important reveal here that Boa Hancock's bounty went up.
Yes.
Since she was Shichibukai.
Yeah. I guess since the warlord system got demolished, they have to raise their bounties to incentivize people to try to get rid of them for them. Although I doubt anyone's gonna be really stepping to allow these warlords except the Marines and Emperors like Blackbeard.
Yeah, I think it's amazing at how high these bounties are now that they're coming back into the game. Like Mihawk's bounty hitting 3 billion.
I mean, to be fair, that's Mihawk.
That's true.
Mihawk.
That's
every
true.
time my boy Mihawk pulls up on a scene, all you see is everybody lose it. Like, remember when he first pulled up, like, Don Krieg?
Oh
like,
my gosh.
And like, Don Krieg's like, oh yeah, I was about to go into the Grand Line with all my ships. And then I pissed off this one dude on a raft with a big sword and he cut down every one of them.
Oh my gosh.
And then you see him pull up, drinking some tea on the raft, and he's like, yo, you thought I was done with you? He's like, no, I chased you all the way here from the Grand Line.
I've come for that head.
I've come for you. Oh man, yeah, so I'm not surprised. Mihawk is a threat on every level.
True. And not only that, but we have Blackbeard in the 3 billions as well. I think that his bounty is still a little bit lower than Mihawk, so I think that speaks to the threat that Mihawk poses to the Marines. Because I guess he was a Marine hunter in his old days as well. But it seems like Blackbeard just has no regard for human life.
He doesn't. He's a menace. Like,
yeah.
Black Air Force energy, 100% in Blackbeard. Like,
he was willing to risk the lives of his crew just to kill Boa.
Yeah, he would. Yeah, literally, because he captures Boa, and his devil fruit is if he's holding you, like it disables your fruit's ability because like the darkness encompasses all or whatever the explanation they gave us. But he pretty much is like, oh, he's pretty much holding you. He's like, turn everyone back, and she's like, no, I won't. Like even if you kill me and give someone else the new fruit, they won't be able to help you. So she's like, how about you let me go and I'll let everyone else go when you guys leave my island.
Yeah, but he's not buying it. He's not a total idiot.
He's not buying it. Like, listen, Kobe is like, all right, listen, like maybe we should hear her out and figure something out. And Blackbeard's like, nah. He's like, nah. The way I see it is, I should just kill you now and just let them die. And I'm like, dang, my boy Blackbeard's too ruthless with it.
Too ruthless. So I think that there is some question as to whether Boa Hancock was lying about whether killing her would
permanently
keep them stuck. And I think that that's the case because since her power was disabled by Blackbeard, like she can't use it while he's in his clutches, and the fact that everybody remains stone means that even if you were to kill her, so put her in a permanent state of not being able to use her power,
it wouldn't
turn in. So after Blackbeard's ruthlessness, a special someone pulls up.
Yes, and it's the special someone.
Yes.
It's none other than Silver's Rayleigh, our favorite old man in this series.
I like how when he pulls up, he's like, you know what? I don't like you.
He's like, yeah, he's like, yo, yeah, you're Whitebeard's old sidekick, apprentice, whatever. He's like, I don't like you. It's immature of me to admit this, but I don't like you.
Yeah.
And Blackbeard's terrified. He's like, yo. He's like anybody but him. He's
speechless. Kobe's like, what?
He's like, the Silver's Rayleigh.
Oh my gosh. Even the fodder on Blackbeard's crew are like,
yeah, they're like, what?
Oh, we're in trouble.
Yeah. That's how you know you fucked up. When Rayleigh pulls up and is like, I don't like you and I'm here to handle shit.
When the first mate to the previous Pirate King pulls up, you stop what you're doing.
You stop what you're doing. You apologize.
You apologize and you leave.
But yeah, Rayleigh pretty much says sorry I'm late, but I'm here to help Hancock. He's like, if you release everyone you turn into stone, I'll ensure that everyone leaves this island without more escalation. And sure enough, Hancock lets him go, and Rayleigh diffuses the situation like a champ.
He diffused the situation where an old Shichibukai, the Navy, and a current emperor are involved. And they just left.
Yeah.
That speaks to the power he has.
I'll say that. They know. Like, his reputation speaks for itself. Like, they know better.
Yes. And I think it's also worth noting that even though that they managed to survive, even Rayleigh was like, I don't know if I'd be able to take Blackbeard as I currently am.
Yeah. And you know, everyone's chilling back in the present, talking about what they're gonna do. And the fact that Rayleigh admitted that just speaks to like how powerful Blackbeard is now, especially now he has 2 devil fruits.
Yeah.
Like,
and you gotta remember that this same Rayleigh was fighting Kizaru on an equal footing.
Yes.
And he was saying that he could have done more when he was younger. He could have saved the Straw Hats when he was younger. Which is crazy to think about. Well, I mean, he's a little bit older now because it's been 2 years, but I still think that Rayleigh retains a lot of the strength that he had, especially because he was able to pass on a lot of what he learned to Luffy.
Yeah, and on top of that is hockey, which, like, I think people admit that as you grow older, your devil fruit power tends to dwindle. It's like Whitebeard wasn't able to exert the same amount of strength out of his fruit as he did in his prime. But stuff like hockey, I think it's something that doesn't necessarily dwindle with age because it's like a mental type skill. Like, it's because their mentality and mindset is still just as strong and the same as ever. Their willpower hasn't changed. If anything, probably it's gotten stronger as they lived. Right. Hockey is and I think that's just another reason why hockey is superior to devil fruits, is the fact that, like, even as an old man, we've seen that, like, the hockey he's putting out is insane. And it might not be as good as his prime, but it's probably still damn pretty close. Like,
yeah. Now that they're finally, like, relaxed, we learn some important pieces of information. So, first of all, we learned that Shaki was a former empress.
Yeah,
sorry,
former pirate
empress.
Yeah, former pirate empress of the Amazon Lily 2 generations ago. So
yes.
It was Boa Hancock, Gloriosa, and then before Gloriosa was Shaki.
Yes.
Which is crazy because if you look at Gloriosa and you look at Shaki, and you were to guess which one of these two was the empress before the other, I'm pretty sure everyone would think Gloriosa. So I don't know what Shaki's doing, but she kept it looks good.
She's aging very well. I must
graceful.
Say. Yes, aging like wine, and Gloriosa ages like milk.
But yeah, Gloriosa mentions how their lucky Rayleigh came because between the Navy and their new pacifistas and Blackbeard, it might have been the end for the Amazon Lily pirates. And Rayleigh's just like, Rayleigh's trying to help them figure out what they're gonna do, and everyone's saying, but more importantly, those new pacifistas, after everything we threw at them, none of them had a single scratch. And on top of that, one of them looked just like Boa Hancock when she was young. Same earrings and everything. Like white hair, brown skin, like Lunarian Boa Hancock as a kid. I'm not sure what they're doing to make these pacifistas. Maybe they're like taking a little bit of DNA from people, and that's where they get the Lunarian traits, and maybe they have some of Boa Hancock's DNA from her time as a slave. Yeah. But however they're making these monster pacifista kids, it's insane.
I think this speaks to one of the more major characters we have yet to have revealed to us in the series, Vegapunk.
Yes.
Because he developed the pacifista, he developed Momo's somehow defective devil fruit.
Frankie found a bunch of his recycled like drawings, and that's how he managed to upgrade himself to his new cyborg form after time skip. And also I think he included a couple of the weapons on the Sunny after.
Yeah, they said that his intellect is 500 years past beyond current human understanding, which is just crazy to think about.
I wonder if maybe he has a devil fruit that's like responsible for that. Like maybe he ate a devil fruit that like something that just made him like that much smarter than the average person. Or maybe he was just born like that. He's just so built different and intelligent that his ideas and his creations are just that advanced.
Maybe we'll have to wait till he's revealed. But continuing on, so right after we get this big reveal that the Lunarian child looks exactly like Boa Hancock as a child, we learned that Kobe was taken.
Yes, kidnapped by the ruthless Black Air Force energy man himself, Blackbeard.
Yes.
And his current status is unknown. So they just know that Blackbeard took Kobe and dipped. As for like whether he's been torturing Kobe, whether Kobe's dead, no one has any clue.
Yeah, I'm hoping he's alright.
I'm hoping he's alright too, but you know, if something happens to Kobe and Luffy finds out, it's a wrap for Blackbeard.
We didn't have much to discuss this time because we kind of talked a lot about it during the video as well, but we had major reveals, and you guys should definitely stick around for some of the things we have to talk